Hi everyone, this is Shirley from Shirley's World. I'm going to try to iron in this small bathroom and I hope the lighting's alright. I had to open the shutters. I have a few things to iron that I need to list, so I thought I'd iron while I'm talking to you. I have a couple nursing stories from when I was a student. Let's start way back then. First, let me get a shirt. This is American Eagle Outfitters, and it's a athletic fit. So I'll probably have to keep reaching up to the camera and making short clips because my camera gets so hot that may be what is the problem. So we'll see. This morning's video that I did of the garden and letting the chickens out, it finally went on okay. But you know, I never know. I'll never know if this is going to work on this video until I try to upload it. And that's after all the editing. So it's a lot of work to do if it never gets on YouTube, if it never uploads right. But anyway, back to the nursing stories. I went to Huron Road Hospital in East Cleveland. I got my, I had an uncle that was a surgeon in Mount Vernon, Ohio, okay? And his wife was my aunt, Helen, and they're the ones that suggested Huron Road Hospital is supposed to be a really good nursing school. It's the oldest, it was the oldest nursing school west of the Allegheny Mountains. So anyway, it was in East Cleveland, and so my parents took me up there to see the school. It was connected with Fenn College, which is now Cleveland State University. It was called Fenn College back then. I liked the school not so much because it was a really good school, but because I loved the dormitory. It was an old apartment house. It was across the street from the school. And the rooms where you were assigned to for your room, they were in like suites. And there was two bigger rooms and then a small room. So you had 5 girls in one suite. And I just loved that idea. So actually, that's the school I picked, and I picked it mostly because of the dormitory. But, yeah. It was a very good school, like they said, and it was a 3-year school. I hope you can hear me. It was a 3-year nursing school, but we got an associate degree, and our associate degree was in psychology. And I'm not sure why, but that's what you got your associate degree in. But during nursing school, we wore, it wasn't like nowadays. We had a uniform. It was a black and white, tiny little check dress. And then over the dress, we had a starched apron. It was an apron with a bib and then like an apron. And every time you sat down, you flipped the apron forward so you wouldn't wrinkle the white apron. It was bright white. And I forget exactly how long you were in school before you got your cap. I don't know if it was a year or 6 months or what it was. I don't think it was a year. And then we had a capping ceremony. And you got your nurse's cap. I wish I had mine. I wish I had saved one. I have a picture of me in it, which I'll try to attach to this video, but it came flat, and you had to starch it and lay it flat till it dried, and then you had to fold it in a special way. It wasn't like the easy folds that just folded down and you buttoned a button. It was very complicated. It was the old time type of cap that they had in that school. So anyway, you got your nursing cap. You went to school for a certain amount of time. You went to school for so many months at Fenn College and classes in the hospital. And then you finally went onto the floors. And my first patient, of all things, was a doctor. So, of course, that makes you a nervous wreck. But he was so nice. I remember he was very nice and understanding. I forget why he was in there, but yeah, I do remember he was a doctor. We had people, of course, instructors watching us all the time when we were on the floors with actual patients. So you never knew where there'd be an instructor hiding. They'd sort of stay in the backgrounds and watch you to see what you're doing. And they were there if you had any questions, etc. But yeah, I remember I was in a nurse's and in a patient's room, and back then they had old-fashioned bedpans, and they had in the bathrooms they had a contraption that you flushed the bedpan. You'd put the bedpan in this contraption and shut it in there and flush it, and it would clean the bedpan. Anyway, extra bedpans were hung on the wall in the bathroom. So I was coming into the bathroom with a bedpan, and I swung open the door, and I heard this clatter of bedpans, and hiding behind the door was one of the instructors, and it was the meanest one. Her name was Mrs. Krebs. It even sounds like she's very tall. She had gray hair. Yeah, Mrs. Krebs. I'll never forget her. But I don't think I got bad marks for that happening. But anyway, that's how we did it. We went to school part-time, and then we go onto the floors part-time. And you also, when you were on the floors, you worked a regular shift, like 8-hour shift. And you got a little tiny paycheck for that when you were working. And yeah, which seemed like a lot at the time. I'm sure it was like $2 an hour, maybe less, I don't know. You know, the first paycheck I got after I graduated, the first hospital I worked at was St. Luke's in Cleveland. It's not even there anymore. It was a huge hospital. And my first pay per hour was $3.50 an hour as an RN nurse, graduate nurse. I thought that was high. So you can imagine what the pay was back then. I mean, I considered that great. Yeah, some of the other things, funny things that happened in nursing school, we had to, when we were on a surgical floor, they had medical floors and surgical floors. That's about it. And I was on a rotation in surgical floors. We also got to be in the operating rooms too, but that's another story. You had to, this was a women's gynecological floor, a surgical floor. So I had a patient that was going to get a hysterectomy. And you had to shave, back then they shaved patients, you know, in the area that they were going to cut. So they had to be shaved like about from here down. I mean, all the way down. I was so nervous doing that actually I got there, and they were like single-edged razor blades. And I was so nervous doing this that the first thing I did when I got my razor out and put it together was to cut my finger. So I cut my finger and it was bleeding, and the instructor was in there, and I was trying to hide my bleeding finger as good as I could, but she saw it, and she called me over and bandaged my hand and everything, and we went on and finally got this poor woman. I'm sure after she saw that, she was scared to death to have me shave her, but yeah, that's why you're in school. Yeah, to learn to do things. So anyway, I don't think I'm ever going to get these things ironed, especially these fishing shirts, because there's so much to them if I keep talking. So I'm just going to do a short video because I have no idea if this is going to upload or not. So let me see if there's another quick story about nursing schools. The thing that comes to mind doesn't have anything to do with nursing, but I had a cousin, my favorite cousin. His name was David Wickersham. That was my maiden name. I don't know if anybody is a vintage baseball fan. My cousin was a pitcher. He was on the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was on Detroit's team, and he ended up being on Kansas City's team when he finally retired. David Wickersham, look him up. Anyway, they came to Cleveland to play the Indians, and he called me and took me out to dinner, and we went to a movie when I was in nursing school. It was so nice of him. But, yeah. Anyway, Huron Road Hospital. I'm not sure if it's still nursing school or not. I haven't looked it up lately. But it was really something. And when we graduated, my aunt and uncle that had recommended this, they came to graduation. It was a big thing back then. So those are just my little stories for today. I have to get back to ironing. So this is Shirley from Shirley's World Vlog. So please subscribe and like my videos and share. And I will be back another time with some more stories. Bye.